Hey guys, and welcome to Get Live Podcast. And you're like, what, bish? Is this not kunai? No, it's not kunai. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. This is actually episode 74 of the original Get Live Podcast, the gaming podcast. And today, we're going to be talking about Attack on Titan, the game, which was released like 2 days ago in Japan. And I am joined by really, really awesome people today. I have our new hopefully permanent host, Joe, who you guys might recognize from Kunai. Say hello, Joe.
Hello.
And obviously we have two other guys who are also from Kunai. We got Tyson and the Koei himself, Kevin.
Hey guys. Hey, what's so funny, Tyson?
It's just the whole...
Tyson's just jealous. He's just laughing because he's jealous.
It's just the whole
Tyson's
Koei
blushing
thing.
at the moment because he wants to be known as the Koei. He's like, why can't Senpai notice me?
No, I am the
He's
second.
just getting
I
stage fright because he's a guest on this.
I am the senpai.
Maybe.
I'm older than all of you. Older.
Doesn't matter. That's not what...
Doesn't matter. You don't need to be old.
That's
to be
not how
mature.
senpaiship works, Tyson.
Yeah. What was the guy's name again? Oh, the guy that I met at Con. Oh, shit. I forgot his name.
Sam.
Sam. Yeah, that's not what Sam said. Sam said he completely acknowledged that I am your senpai. Just
Wow. That's just...
Wow.
He stabbed me in the back. Sam, I will get you
Just
for this.
saying.
I will get you for this.
Outranked, man.
Sam's probably not listening to this. Actually, he might, because this might actually interest him. Attack on Titan. Sam, if you're listening, you're a cool guy. Shout out to you, man. But
Yeah, we totally don't give shoutouts on this podcast.
yeah, we totally don't. And Sam is really awesome. You might recognize him from our first ever episode from Kunai. And I think he also live listened to our Attack on Titan episode from Kunai.
He did.
Yes.
He did.
Which is a fun fact. Not many people know. Actually, anyone that's listened to that episode would know that Sam was listening to it, which is something I forgot. But it kind of brings me on to this new point here, that you guys need to go and watch that episode. Tell us what you think, and be like, oh yeah, bitch, that was an amazing episode, yeah.
What was the number
And
of
then
that
come back
episode
and
again?
listen to this.
What's
I can't
number
even
of what?
remember.
What? Let me look it up real quick now.
But
Because-
while
Yeah, number
Tyson
of
is
what?
looking it up, I'm going to go and
Oh,
say
of
the
the episode.
disclaimer. For you new folks, Get Live Podcast is a monthly gaming discussion podcast. It never used to be, but now it is. You know, we're making that commitment. It's going to be monthly. Yeah. Under the Get Live
Hopefully.
group, we talk about all sorts of games, from big AAA titles, you know, your Call of Duties, your Halo, your other big AAA titles, as well as the indie games. But our forte is Japanese games, and expect that a lot. So expect a lot of Criminal Girls, expect a lot of, you know, Street Fighter, expect a lot of DOA, that kind of stuff, as well as this new Attack on Titan game. Yeah. So yeah, we can be found on Stitcher and iTunes, and soon Google Play Music, when Google Play actually obviously launches that service. Remember, if you guys want to join in on all the fun, then follow us on Twitter at Get Alive Podcast. That's actually my Twitter page. I'm the only guy that runs that. That's my personal Twitter page, as well as the Twitter page that I use for the podcast. So not all tweets will be podcast related. Some tweets might be anime related. Some tweets might be gaming related. Anyway, so yeah.
By the way,
This episode.
By the way, the episode of Kunai in which we cover Attack on Titan is episode number 7. It's one of
Episode number 7.
It was one of our first ones too.
It was, I think, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
after shit. It was after. Wait, I think it was after.
It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. It's the 5th anime that we covered, but it was covered
Is it?
within the first year of the podcast. So technically, it's
I
one of the
thought it
first
was-
that we did. Yeah.
I thought it was after our Hentai Prince and
No,
the
that
Stony
was
Cat
free.
episode.
That was free.
Oh,
bitch.
it was.
No,
How could you
no,
forget free?
no, it was Hanako, Free, Blast of Tempest, Persona 4, and then Attack on Titan. That's how the order
we talked
goes.
about some really, really awesome anime in like the first year of Kunai, and now it's all
Yeah.
trash that we cover. just waifu trash. It's like, oh yeah, Nisekoi, and then Haganai, and then probably Love Live soon. So
Wait,
it's just gonna be. a
Wait,
bunch of
are you
waifu
calling
trash.
Nisekoi trash? Fuck yeah!
I am calling. Well, this is my domain, Tyson.
That's getting censored.
I mean,
I can tell.
Nisekoi
That's
isn't the
getting
only thing
censored.
that's trash. I just want to put that out there right now.
Ooh. Anyway, let's talk about Attack on Titan. So Shingeki no Kyojin, or Attack on Titan, is, as it's known in the West, is an anime based on the works of Hajime Isayama, and the game is no different from the anime because, you know, it's based from season 1 of the animation, And this game was announced at Gamescom 2015. It's developed by Omega Force, whom you guys know if you listen to this podcast religiously. You know that Omega Force is in charge of Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors. They develop all of those kind of games for Tecmo Koei. It's actually a division within Tecmo Koei, actually. And yeah, they also make the Gundam games and the One Piece Pirate Warriors games as well. And another kind of thing to notice is that the game is published by Tecmo Koei in Japan, and we kind of expect it to be published also by Tecmo Koei in Europe and also overseas. If you're living in France, and obviously in the rest of Europe, it's going to be published by Tecmo Koei, but we assume that it's going to be distributed by Koch Media. They normally kind of distribute the Dynasty Warriors games in Europe. That's very different from publishing, though. Yeah, the game was released 2 days ago. So actually, it was released on the 18th of February. I think that's 3 days ago. And we're looking to see a Western release sometime in the fall. And this is usually what Tecmo Koei kind of does. This is usually what Tecmo Koei does with games that aren't DOA. They normally have that 6-month gap. And that's kind of to prepare for a dub, usually. And we expect that there is going to be a dub of this game. That's going to happen.
Preferably good dub.
It's probably going to be the dub of the original, like the original cast from the anime are probably going to do the dub. We don't quite know.
Yes, but I assume they won't get everybody.
No, I think they will.
Cast.
I think
They will.
because they've done it before. They've done it with, the One Piece games. They've done it with the Gundam. Well, actually, no, Gundam was Japanese cast only. But Tecmo Koei really, really like using the original cast in any sort of thing. Even Dynasty Warriors, like those games had their original cast even from the beginning. There were people that were in Dynasty Warriors 2 that are still in Dynasty Warriors 8 and things like that.
And in any case,
so, yeah.
they can go directly to the production company, in this case, Funimation, and then ask for the Italian studio in which these people who did the dub for Attack on Titan, hey, can we get the contact information from so and so and so? Then they'll contact them or go through the production company. They can.
I think it's either they're going to go through the production company or they're going to ask them in person, because a lot of the people that were in Attack on Titan, fun fact, are also in a lot of Tecmo Koei games, whether that may be Samurai Warriors or Dynasty Warriors or anything like that. So
Probably
they would already have their contact there.
Probably through the RGMC.
If they can get like the original cast, or if they can at least make a decent dub, then I'll be fine with either.
Yeah, I think Tecmo Koei know how to kind of get good dubs in games, at least.
I trust them. Like I've known their history with dubs.
But so I don't know the company very well, but could we expect a dual audio, or would this be an English audio only if it releases in the West?
Yes, that's the thing. If it releases in the West, expect I think how it normally works, like especially with games like Dynasty Warriors, because they usually tend to have issues with releasing in America, especially with digital releases. Is that I think Sony America they won't let a game be published unless it has an English voice track, which is kind of weird. So usually what they do is they'll put the English on the disc and then have a free DLC where you can download the Japanese voices, because they've been doing that with.
It's usually the case that that the reason why Japanese voiceovers aren't included into games is because of the unions. Like they may have deals over there with the talent agencies and the production companies and committees over there that just establish that we do not want our work to be exported to somewhere else. This has happened, and this is probably the reason why many of these Japanese games, when they come over to the West, they do not come over with Japanese subtitles.
I think the issue is, Tyson, is not necessarily that, because I know Tecmo Koei, usually what they do is that if they can't bring a game overseas or anything like that, they usually just, like, for instance,
they recast everyone?
Dynasty Warriors.
They recast everyone?
No, it's not they recast everyone, is that they will just use the Japanese dub. Tecmo Koei tends to do this a lot. We've seen that with games like Warriors Orochi 3. That game was not actually supposed to come overseas at all. Like, a lot of people in the West were like, yes, we want this game and all that kind of stuff. And Tecmo Koei really worked very, very hard to bring it overseas. because it's very text heavy and that kind of stuff. And also, the game had a cast of, I think, of 120 characters, and it seems very unrealistic to dub all of those characters. And so they were like, okay, you're getting the game, but you're getting the Japanese dub only. And that's something Tecmo has been doing a lot recently. We've been, there's kind of a lot of issues that people tend to have with Tecmo Koei. Like, they would promise a dub for Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, and then halfway through that, they're like, no, we can't do a dub. We're going to have to just give you the Japanese version. Like, in terms of the Japanese dub and whatnot. A lot of people tend to get angry over that, but I can understand where they're coming from. Because sometimes it's either you're getting the game with the Japanese dub with no English audio, or you're not getting the game at all. And sometimes, I know personally, I would rather get the game with the Japanese dub than no game at all. Do you know what I mean?
No, but you're citing a reverse example of what I've been trying to say. Is I've read my fair share of localization articles about how does that work and everything. And one of the reasons that they cited about how many Japanese games that do not come over with Japanese dubs are precisely because of that. There may be cases in which it's a design choice, like for instance, I would say Persona 4, but there are cases in, say, let's just say the Dynasty Warriors games in, let's say that that the talent agencies or the talents are unionized, and that's one of the clauses in their contract. So it can happen. It definitely can happen.
Mm-hmm. It can, but I would say more so, it's more likely that we see a game that has like a Japanese dub and no English dub in terms of Tecmo Koei kind of stuff. Like, that's, I'm just saying from what I know, because it's also very interesting, because sometimes even when they do have the English dub of the game, in the credits, they don't credit the English voice actors at all. They would just credit the Japanese voice actors, even though the game is shipped with English voices. But back onto the point. The point was whether or not we're going to actually see the game have an English dub. I'm assuming that we are going to see the game have an English dub on disc, and then you have the ability to download the Japanese dub, whether or not you would want that.
I was just asking because I know that
Yeah.
in general the community tends to react really negatively when there is no option for a Japanese dub, because a lot of people in the anime community and gaming community for that matter are like purists, so they're really insistent on the original dub, right? So I know that happened with like Fire Emblem Fates, and there's a huge outcry, and I was wondering if how Koei Tecmo would handle that with their release of Attack on Titan.
Yeah, with them is that they normally provide both. If not both, then they'll just have the Japanese dub as standard. But I expect to see both upon release. Another thing that I kind of want to mention is that this game is rated as a 0D in Japan. And what that means is that basically it's one below 0Z. And that rating is pretty much like your mature rating in America and things like that. And people are like, well, why is it like that high of a rate? Why is the rating so low? The reason being is because if it was rated 0Z or 0Z, sorry, if it was rated as such, then the game wouldn't have a PSN release, because obviously those kind of games don't get PSN releases, and it'll be very difficult to obtain. And Tecmo Koei have kind of put measures in to lower down the rating of the game, especially in Japan. You would know this if you play the game for the first time. You actually get asked, do you want to see gore? And you say yes or no. So that kind of implication has put the game as a lower rating. The thing is, it's kind of odd. Like, I can see that Kevin, you've put like something in the chat, and you're asking whether or not it's the equivalent of M, like a mature rating. I would say yes.
So I'm
but
guessing
their rating system is very different in Japan.
So I'm guessing 0Z would be something like the equivalent of A in America, right? Where it's like adults only, and like 20 plus, correct?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But it's very odd, because I know a game like Attack on Titan is going to be rated either 16, or because of its goriness, is going to be rated 18. Because we don't have that kind of adults only kind of genre, like rating. Our highest rating is an 18, and really not all games get that rating. Like, for example, we look at games
like rated A is like very exclusive to games that are like out
No,
there.
and all games that are rated adults only are pretty much deemed to commercial suicide. That's how bad it is.
If you release a game with an A, you shouldn't be expecting very much because you're handicapping your audience, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I think going back to the point with the whole UK thing is that a lot of our games, like if a game is rated M in America, it tends not to be rated M in the UK. Like for example, let's use Call of Duty. Like that's rated M in America, rated M for mature. The game was rated 16 in the UK. It used to be given an 18 rating, but now it's rated as 16 because, I don't know why, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, the transition between like different ratings in different countries is very weird.
It's very weird, and I think what gives something an 18 rating in the UK is sexualization of characters and extreme gore. And I'm guessing that this game is either going to get a 16 because Dynasty Warriors games tend to get 16 ratings, or more so, probably an 18 because of the blood. But I think because they've given the opportunity
well, like
to
since you have the choice to choose like gore or not, and they'll probably blow it to 16.
I think so, but I think in America it's probably just going to be its standard mature rating.
Have there been changes in the PEGI rating system recently that they have been changes in what is considered a 16 or 18?
Not quite. It's the PEGI system has always kind of remained the same. Like before that, we used to have this system where it was similar to films. The BFFC ratings, like you 15, you got your 18, 12A, that kind of stuff. And some games were given really odd ratings because of it. Like a game like Call of Duty World at War, that game was given a 15. And I think that's like the goriest games out of, like the most goriest game of all of the Call of Duty games, and yet it was rated 15. It's the same sort of thing with films, like because it was given like, because our system used to be based off like this film system, it didn't quite work well. Like I'll kind of give an example, like the newest Deadpool film, that's a rated, I think R in America.
It is R
Yeah, it's
in
rated R in
America.
America. It does a lot to get that R rating.
You need to be 15 or older to watch this film. 15. So it's not R rated
crazy.
here. We have 18 ratings for films, but that's more equivalent to our R rating. But what I'm saying is that our rating systems are kind of messed up in a way, and they aren't necessarily the same as the Americas or even Japan. So I'm expecting this to get a 16 here in the UK and possibly an M in America.
If anything,
releases.
if anything, is the movie the MPAA rating system the one that's flawed? But that does not come to the point.
Possibly. Yeah. So yeah, the game is kind of based off the first season of anime. So if you haven't seen the first season, go and watch the first season of the anime. It's on all of these kind of sites, on Netflix, it's on Crunchyroll, all that kind of shit. You can go and watch it there. I think it's on Hulu as well, isn't it?
It is on Hulu because Funimation has the license and they sub-license it to them.
Yeah, it's on Hulu as well, and it's probably on Funimation now.
Plus Funimation does the dub, so if you want to watch it dub, there's the option to do so as well via Funimation now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the thing is, you guys go and watch the anime. We're not going to be discussing spoilers on this episode, but it makes more sense. Just go and watch the anime, then you'll understand what we're talking about.
mention the anime. We'll mention the anime here and there, but like this episode is mainly focused on like the game and like aspects.
Game and game mechanics, and that's something that I want to kind of talk about. This game is very, very unique for something that is made by Omega Force.
Koei Tecmo?
Yeah, because Koei Tecmo tend to do your basic kind of game, similar to Activision and their Call of Duty games. Is that it's the same sort of equation every year. Your games are pretty much the same. You just add new characters in. But this is very different because you're not working on the horizontal plane. You're just working in more so in 3D because
pretty much
fighting vertically and things like that.
Possibly, probably omnidirectional, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. And that's obviously because of the new mechanics. That's the 3D maneuver gear, which is something that you have in the anime. I don't know. Tyson, can you explain what the maneuver gear is for people that don't probably know?
So the maneuver gear is given to the recruits that allows for... In the anime, it's called 3D movement, but basically it's just a set of hooks that can hook up to pretty much anywhere, trees, rocks, and allows you to go from the ground to the air and maneuver around really quick, and is the main tool used to attack the Titans because their weak point is on their necks, and there's no way you can get there just from the ground. So that's why you need that kind of gear.
So, like, in short, they're basically jetpacks, if you want to think of it like that. They allow movement in the air, basically.
Yeah, jetpacks or like Spider-Man suits, because this is something. If you've played the Spider-Man games, you pretty much know how the movement gear works. Because it's similar to that. It's like
a lot like
web
that.
slinging thing.
It looks like, from the footage that I've seen, that the maneuver gear can be used pretty much everywhere instead of in closed spaces like in the anime. Can you comment on this, Bish?
Within the game, you have to be hooked onto a building or trees. So you can't just use the maneuver gear anywhere.
I noticed in the tutorial, you connected to like giant
like in this
walls.
this valley, they're hooking onto like the edges of the rocks, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if that's that's just for the sake of the tutorial, but like it's like you can connect to rocks too.
Yeah, but that's pretty much in plot with the anime because for instance, if you wanted to attack the Titans, you do some in a forest, you do so in places where you can use your maneuver gear, so you can tackle their weak point.
Yeah,
that's pretty much on plot with the anime.
So,
but
yeah, I'd say it's pretty accurate.
In case you guys are like, oh wait, what? You guys just said it was a jetpack. Why'd you need to be in a forest? Well, the thing is, it's kind of like a jetpack, but not quite, because you still need to hook onto things. So they're best used in like forests where there are a lot of things to grapple onto. If you don't have anything to hook onto, you can't use your jetpack.
Yeah, it's also, I like your jetpack kind of analogy, but at the same time, people are gonna be criticizing on us in terms of the way that we explain it. But it's kind of like Spider-Man in a sense. Spider-Man can use his web, but he can't. If he's not hanging onto anything, his web is potentially.
Spider-Man is probably the most correct analogy. Yeah. Because he doesn't need to hook up on things to actually swing.
Except it isn't as buggy.
Wow!
Ouch. Wow! Shots fired.
The pung hit so hard. The pung hit so hard.
Oh, was that a pun? I thought you were just making fun of the Spider-Man game.
Activision DDoS in 3,
No, I am.
2, 1.
No, okay. Here's the thing. I love some of the Spider-Man games. I've played them. They're really fun. But I've seen some. I gotta admit, there are some other games that are like really buggy with the Spider-Man mechanics. And like, I don't mean to take a jab at anybody, but they're awful.
I know the Treyarch ones are pretty good. The Spider-Man games made by Treyarch are pretty good. I don't know these other developers that you're referencing.
It's kind of understandable. If you look at it from
Treyarch did Spider-Man games at the beginning before they even did Call of Duty.
1, 2, and I think 3.
Exactly.
Spider-Man 2 will always be the best Spider-Man. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Oh, was it because of the pizza pie thing? That's what I love.
The pizza pie thing. Oh my god.
When you had to deliver pizzas. I love that game.
And then that really crappy pizza music was playing in the background.
Something like that. It was something hilarious. You know what I used to do in that game? I used to just hold the pizza until it was time, until time ran out, and just kill bad guys with it. You know what I mean? Just still holding onto the pizza and just swinging around. Oh yeah, that's Spider-Man.
I always fail those missions because I always crash in the walls with it.
Wow.
But another thing I love about the Spider-Man game, I know it's kind of off topic here, but we do that on the Get Like podcast, is the New York people. Like, oh yeah, get out of here. There's something like, what was it? Oh shit, there was like specific quotes from that game that just
really cliche.
Yeah, that game was good.
Oh yeah, I'm walking here.
Spider-Man 2 was like a part of my childhood.
I think Spider-Man 3 was one of the first examples of game design taking a spin to the open world, because you could swing around the whole city. You could tackle missions here and there. I don't know if the progression was linear, but you had this whole playground in the city, and that was achieved on PS2 Xbox hardware. That's pretty impressive to make it.
Wait, wasn't Spider-Man 2 open world too?
It was, but it was kind of not as open world.
A linear kind of open world?
Remember, it was linear because you're kind of forced into doing certain missions before you can progress. It wasn't like Spider-Man 3, I'll be honest, but Spider-Man 1 was like really like not open world at all. You can only go on like certain rooftops, and if you touch the floor, you die. I didn't know that's how Spider-Man works. You know, he's allergic to the street somehow.
It's, it's like how some gaming characters are allergic to the water. I mean, there's something called swimming because the animators didn't want
like
to
those
do
old
it.
school GTA games.
We love those
Yeah.
classic invisible walls, you know? Gotta love those,
Oh,
you know?
Oh man.
speaking of walls and invisible walls, I would say that's the reason that if you look at the Attack on Titan game, there's a lot more objects in your way than you would see in the anime. For instance, in those moments within the anime where you're in the forest, it's kind of open. You know what I mean? When you leave the walls of the city, it's very open and things like that. But bear in mind, this game isn't an open world. It isn't. You're very limited. It's similar to the Dynasty Warriors games in the sense that you have your camp elements where, you know, you buy new items, you buy new blades, you buy new upgrades for your maneuver gear, that kind of stuff, and new costumes as well. And then you go on and you do your missions from your city guard, and you leave the city or you stay in the city depending on which story mission it is. And also, once you've left the city, there is a lot more foliage, there is a lot of trees, mainly because without that, the maneuver gear doesn't quite work. I'm just gonna say that. Although there's also a lot of enemies on the maps, which I didn't expect. Like normally, Dynasty Warriors games, you can have up to 1,000 enemies on a map, but within this game, you tend to have you have Titans, so you're not going to see as many. You're not going to see 1,000 Titans on a map.
It's definitely going to be much more like aerial based, so it's definitely going to require less enemies. Or else it's going to like lag a lot.
No, and
that's true. No. But at the same time, in the anime, you don't see 1,000 Titans appearing at once. It tends to be.
It's also 20. Like staying with the source material.
Yeah. You also have to consider that gameplay-wise, considering that Titans, you know, there's only vulnerable spot is their neck. It wouldn't be very practical, you know. It wouldn't be very accurate to have 1,000 Titans.
That's the thing with the game.
No.
The thing with areas, yes, their main spot to kill them is the back of the neck, as in the anime and the manga. However, within the game, you can target multiple areas, the legs, the arms, that kind of stuff, to make it easier to get to that kind of blind spot at the back of the neck. So you can kind of injure Titans, you can decapitate them, you can make them limbless. Like, if you take off their legs, they're going to fall straight to the floor, making them an easier target, that kind of stuff. Yeah. The game also has other mechanics, you know, destructible environment, which is something we've never seen before in a Tecmo Koei game, from what I've seen.
Does this run on the same engine as Dynasty Warriors? Because
it runs
adding
on
a
very kind of modified version of the Dynasty Warriors engine, but you know we can.
It has to be modified in order to bring destructible environments.
The thing is, there's a lot of stuff that is very similar, so that's why I'm kind of assuming that it is heavily modified version of it, as opposed to a completely new engine, because we know it's not a new engine. They wouldn't have created a new engine for one game. Yeah, one thing that
it's because like
Joe.
Oh, it's because well, actually, what am I gonna say? Like, it's about the destructive areas. Like when I saw can I spoil it?
Yeah, spoil it.
About the yeah, this is a small spoiler. It happens like early on, but like with Titan Eren, like when he's fighting another Titan, you can see like all the houses getting destroyed.
That's very
as he's
cool. And
around.
the thing is, it's not like they're.
So it's like, yeah, like you can knock Titans inside different houses, and then
the
like,
thing is
they'll
with
just
that
collapse.
mechanic is that it's very primitive. It's not like the best sort of thing. Like, it's not like. It's clunky,
yeah,
but
it's
I think
clunky,
it's kind of
like
it's kind of like within Dynasty Warriors. There are some. I know I'm referring to Dynasty Warriors a lot, but these games are very similar. It's kind of like in Dynasty Warriors. Usually, there's boxes or pots ceramic pots that you can break, and they're actually hollow inside. So when you break them, they kind of fall apart, and then you just don't see them again. You don't see the rubble. Same with the destructible environment. The environment can be destroyed, but it's taken out of the game once it's destroyed. You don't see it again.
Yeah. So it's not like this battlefield.
No, it's nothing like
where
was it the Crytek engine, or not Frostbite. That's
engine.
the one. Crytek's a different one.
I'm kind of reminded of. The Red Faction games when you describe this sort of destructible environment, because when you start talking about destructible environments, one has to raise the question: how destructible are they? Are these done in real time, or is just that a swap of the map? For instance, you have this instance of the map in which everything is all dandy and everything, and then you get this cutscene, and then you're spawning on another instance of the map in which
they're destructible in real time. And you tend to notice that once you're playing as a Titan, or if a Titan is knocking through something. But the only difference being is that they're always going to break in the same way.
It's the same animation.
So,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's because I think the transformation can happen like in the game, right? Like while you're like so like it's part of the meter. It's like we talked about this kind of off camera, but basically there are 2 meters. There's the gas meter, which like it's like the amount of gas you use while you're using the maneuver gear, and then there's the
gas meter,
what do you call
and
it,
I'm
Bish?
just calling this the rage meter, but the reason I'm calling it the rage meter is because this is a mechanic that's been taken from, I think, Dynasty Warriors 8, and obviously going back to Dynasty Warriors 5, something called Muso Rage, where you can transform for a specific amount of time. It's similar to that, and even it does
vary by each character?
The way it works in this game is that
So it's
it's
almost like a
ability, but
special ability.
It's more time based. Within this kind of rage mode, I'm going to call it rage mode. Within this rage mode, you pretty much get heightened senses. You can move faster. You can attack faster. Your accuracy increases. Your attack increases. Your defense increases. Stuff like that. So you're basically more powerful. So it doesn't really apply to all characters. All characters have this rage mode, but not all characters can turn into Titans, as we know. Certain characters can, like Eren.
Yes.
And other characters, but I'm not going to ruin it for you, Joe. So,
Thank you.
with that,
Because the thing is, I have seen Attack on Titan, but like I've only seen like a certain amount.
I haven't
of it,
completed the first
so.
season.
no, he hasn't. He
No,
hasn't.
he hasn't.
But the
Oh,
thing
we're
is,
in the same boat.
very
Well,
interesting
you
things
should
about the
you should
game is
finish
that
it.
it's going to walk you through the first season of anime, and I think it's going to bring a lot of people to watching the anime. And like, for example, I know a lot of people that are big fans of anything Dynasty Warriors related, anything Tecmo Koei related, and they may or may have not seen the anime. Same with sort of Arsland and things like that. They're going to play this game and they're going to want to watch the anime. It's just how it is, and vice versa. A lot of people who have watched this anime are going to be going to a lot of Tecmo Koei games, and they're going to be like, oh, this is sick, let's play other games that they've made. It kind of works hand in hand in that sense. It helps every side. And there's also side missions within the game. That's something I've noticed as well. It's not like a linear kind of mission. Yes, you do have your main mission, which is kill the Titans in the area, or defeat this boss Titan, or that kind of stuff. But you do have side missions, like rescuing a teammate, or things like that. But they tend to be random. They're not like the same every time, which is great.
Are you free to choose between choosing the story mission or the side mission, because it may have some open world elements?
What do you mean by that? I think
even though
it's
it's not open world.
You have the ability to save the person or not. Like, you're not forced to, but you do get rewarded for saving them. It could be special items. It also increases your rank, gives you more money, that kind of stuff. By all means, you don't necessarily need to do that mission, because it's kind of randomly generated within the battle, within that particular mission. Mm-hmm. You're not forced to do it.
But say, like in the anime, you have different factions, and then how is it that you can choose between doing the mission of this faction or this faction,
like
and
that.
then
It's
only
not
by
like
doing
that
the
at
two?
all. Because the main characters you play as are the main cast. Yeah, Eren, Mikasa, Armin, Jean or John or whatever they go.
Or are they playable characters instead?
These are all playable characters. The main cast is playable. It's also, you're forced, like, this is something also within Dynasty Warriors, you're kind of forced in the story mode, at least, you're forced to play the character depending on what mission you're on. For example, when Eren first turns into a Titan, you're forced to play as you can't play as Eren. Yeah, you're forced to play
as Mikasa.
You're forced to kind of play from another character's perspective, and sometimes mid-battle they might switch characters, which is very odd. But it's something that we've seen from Gundam, the Dynasty Warriors Gundam. You could be playing as Amuro, and then halfway through you change your character, and then they would switch back.
I can definitely see this I definitely see this happening when Eren transforms into a Titan.
At least for the first time, that's how it works. But then,
has to be rescued.
And then obviously you get a tutorial on how to use your Titan powers and that kind of stuff. It's something quite primitive. It doesn't really... It stays true to the anime to a point, but at the same time, having the ability to kind of regen this Titan ability. Usually after Eren turns into a Titan, he does feel weaker or he feels tired afterwards. He just can't go back into Titan form all the time. It's not like Hulk.
Yeah, definitely. Technical Koei has to take some liberties in order for balancing the game mechanics. Yeah. After all, this is a game.
But that's just how it is. Another game mechanic, and this is the last one that I want to talk about, is the shopping ability. Within Attack on Titan, within the anime, you don't actually see any shopping happening because they do have currency, but you don't really see people buying new blades or buying this kind of stuff because they're just given to them. It's just like, here you go, here's new blades, here's more gas. But in this game, you need to buy weapon upgrades, you need to buy and you get more gas, that kind of stuff. And you're given currency-based...
Wait, how did they say... Okay, never mind. I was going to say, like, how's the currency going to work? Like, how will you gain, like...
I was going to ask that question, too.
Missions. So, based on the rank that you get within the mission... You can get a rank from, I think, D all the way to S. I'm not quite sure what the lowest rank is, but I know the highest rank is S. You're ranked on time, you're ranked on accuracy, that kind of stuff, and also health as well. So similar to Senran Kagura and things like that.
Honestly, I don't feel like that kind of ranking system is a good fit for this game. But
I wouldn't...
But I digress.
I agree somewhat, but also because the game is not... open world, it's very it's mission based, and your maps aren't open maps. You're very confined, although they are launch. It's
so
exactly
it's kind of like
Senran
Kagura
in that sense. So I can understand how they do that, and you are given a currency. Although the anime you don't see any sort of currency, but it does exist, and I understand why they do that. Is because it's to give variety towards the game, and also to give them opportunity to give us more DLC.
I just hope it isn't like the side missions aren't like really.
The thing is, I'll be honest with you. The side missions
when I was playing,
side missions
reminded me of
because they're in battle side missions, and they tend to be defeat this Titan within this time, similar to Samurai Warriors in the sense that you need to kill this person at this time and do this person, like that kind of stuff. Save that person, do that. They are very repetitive. So.
Well, I guess I just hope it isn't too repetitive.
The thing
it reminded me of Senran Kagura in the sense that like when I played through Senran Kagura Burst, it's like there's like side missions for each character, but the thing is like a lot of the missions are very identical. So like I'm alright with repetitiveness if it's fun, but like I don't want it to like be like most of what the side missions are gonna be.
But I think the reason they have the thing is that is also because attacking the actual fighting element within the game is very interesting only because of the 3D maneuver gear. The actual slash button in the game is actually triangle. People have made fun of games like Dynasty Warriors saying, hey look, you're only pressing one button to do awesome combos. This game doesn't necessarily have combos. It's more of a chain attack. So you target one sort of area, and from there you press triangle, and whether or not you get it can lead you on to another attack. So I think the reason that they've done these side missions is because even the battle system within the game is very, very repetitive, and I think these kind of things give it more variety. Whether or not these side missions are repetitive, I think that they need it there to kind of make it more variety instead of just attacking the Titans all the time, because it does get repetitive. Even the bosses that you fight are the same bosses. You're going to fight the Colossal Titan. You're going to fight the Armored Titan like 3 times in the game. That's just how it is.
I mean, as long as it's fun, then
Mhm.
as long as I'm having a fun time, then I guess like I
Mhm.
can kind of brush it off.
Yeah, well, like this is an interesting.
It's like the story is definitely going to be like the shining moment.
I
in
don't.
this, like,
I
how they
don't think
portray
so
the
because I
story
think
in
more
the
so
game.
what the more attractive part of this game, especially for fans, is the ability just to. It's kind of that not nostalgia, but it's kind of like when you're in middle school or something. Like you talk to your friends, and you're like, "Whoa, look! Imagine if I could do this," or that kind of stuff. And you kind of put yourself into the position, and you're like, "Shit! I can actually use the maneuver gear from the anime, and I can kill titans like just like the anime." I think that's what attracts a lot of people to this, similar to a bunch of anime games. That's just how it is. You know, I don't think it's more so the story. A lot of people are going to be not going to be playing the game for the story. They're going to be playing the game for the action. Yes, exactly. But that's just my opinion.
I mean, this is a very interesting point because repetition for me is kind of a concern because I'm saying this as a person who's not a player of Dynasty Warrior games nor a fan. I don't hate them, but I'm not a person that would say that it's my type of game. And one thing that worried me while I was watching the gameplay is I was like, this if the story missions are linear, right, and it's not open world, and they're going to be the same randomly generated side missions multiple times, then I can picture this getting very boring, very very repetitive, really fast for lack of content, right? Because you don't want to grind for aesthetic upgrades.
That's the thing.
Just
That's
over and
what
over
it's
in the
gonna be.
same missions.
I mean, again, we'll have to look at them again. Like it's like we'll have to wait until like the. Wait, have you guys seen the?
Yeah, I've seen how the side
work
missions work. It's
in
kind of
the
like
game?
I'm gonna go back to Spider-Man here, but it's kind of like that. It's kind of like the Spider-Man 2 side missions. Oh, my balloon! Help me with my balloon! That kind of stuff. You could be fighting a Titan, and then someone like I'm just using this as an example. I'm not sure if this character can this can happen to this character. Like, for instance, Armin's like, "Oh shit, I can't fight a Titan. Aaron, help me!" Like, that kind of stuff. I think it's more so that you could have someone in danger, or defeat this Titan within this amount of time, or defeat this Titan, but before you kill him, you have to decapitate these body parts, that kind of stuff. And that's how they work.
So like, well, if they're gonna be as repetitive as you say, then I hope
There
there's
is,
some kind
there
of
is. You get
incentive to them.
more.
Like maybe
You get
like
weapons.
if you do like the
you
final.
get like higher rank, that kind of stuff. That's how it works. There's also a leveling up system within the game, like based on XP. You can level up Aaron, that kind of stuff. One thing that I really wanted to talk about is the similarities and the differences between Dynasty Warriors and this. The producer of this game, and obviously the guy who's responsible for the Dynasty Warriors games, he's mentioned that this game is very different, and I would say his reasoning behind it is more so because the game is completely different. You're fighting in kind of this omnidirection, multiple directions, and the movement is aerial and that kind of stuff. It makes it different, which is it is true, but at the same time, I can come up with loads and loads of similarities to Dynasty Warriors games. I'm not shitting all over Attack on Titan because of this. I'm just... this is just like... I love Dynasty Warriors so much, and I can kind of pick up on these things, so...
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Fish
I'm
is
a
like a
huge fan.
huge
I have a
Koei
question for
Tecmo
you,
fan.
Vish. I mean, in terms of similarities and differences, even though people creating it say that, it's different because, there's 3D maneuver gear, do you think, as an experienced KT fan, that, people who are experienced with Dynasty Warriors will just be able to, pick up the controller, play this game, and feel right at home, or is it
the way
gonna be
I
different?
explain this is that I think anyone can pick up and play this game. To be honest. Because they include a very easy mode, and they ask you at the beginning of the game, do you want to play on very easy mode, or just like normal mode? But I think anyone can pick up and play this game. Nice job.
Nice job,
KT.
Tyson.
Yeah, but to be honest, these games aren't very difficult anyway. So,
Thank you for making the game easy for Tyson.
But-
He's not good
but
at any other
the
game.
point-
or considering the needs that I'm a young adult that needs to work, and I don't have time for video games.
The main thing is, in regards to your point, Kevin, is that yes, anyone who's played a Dynasty Warriors game can pick this up and play it, and they don't even need to play the tutorial because it's that simple. And I think there are a lot of elements, a lot of game mechanics, like using the cannons within the game, that's taken directly from Dynasty Warriors 8 and games like Warriors Orochi, which also used cannons in the same way. I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying it's just like that. And there's a lot of titles, like a lot of influence from other games, including the really shitty game made by Koei Canada, which is called Warriors Legends of Troy. That was the shittest game ever. I'm sorry, Tecmo, if you're listening, that game was shit. And I think that's the reason Koei Canada doesn't exist anymore, because that game was that bad. Just saying. Whether or not that's true, I'm just...
Bish,
you're a straight savage.
Tone it
really hate that
down,
game.
Bish.
Honestly, I do. But there's a lot of things that was taken from that game. For instance, the fact that weapons can break mid-battle. That was something that was taken from that game. Another thing was the option to include gore. That was something that was included in that game also. But yeah, there's a lot of things. Like I mentioned the Muso Rage, and I mentioned the cannons and stuff like that. But one thing that kind of really, as soon as I first saw the gameplay from Gamescom, in my mind, the thing that came up was Dynasty Warriors Strike Force. That game was basically similar in sense of you can fly. Technically, you can fly about in that game, and you fight vertically. And a lot of people have kind of looked past that game because it was a PSP game. But I think there is a lot of influence from that game. I'm just saying. Yeah.
So speaking of vertical movement, though, like the first thing that hit me when I saw gameplay is that, like, my God, this vertical movement is being spammed. Right? It's a very big feature in the game, obviously, but at the same time, I'm afraid that, I'm wondering if they balance it properly, because, as you know, not all games with 3D movement have been successful in the past. I like to point out, Advanced Warfare, where people are just doing jumping jacks left and right. It was like a cross country club.
But bear in mind,
jumping everywhere.
That game, Advanced Warfare, that was a multiplayer game. This is a single player game. More so.
Yeah, and at the same, I also want to say that Advanced Warfare actually did pretty well.
Not. In sales, yes, but critical reception is a.
Well, no, I heard reviews like
IGN does not count, Joe. IGN does not count.
No, I don't give a shit about IGN. I've heard like every other person say that like it's gotten good reviews too.
Wow.
No, but
Yes, yeah.
Sledgehammer.
No, I wasn't taking IGN to account. I'm just like saying that I remember seeing reviews other than IGN, Kevin.
Well, we're just being savage
said
to
it was a
everyone
good game.
today. But
Sledgehammer Games, if you're listening, the opinions of Kevin do not reflect those of Get a Life podcast.
But
yeah, I want to say right now, as much, as I'm not really a fan of Call of Duty, I don't really see the appeal in them. But in Advanced Warfare, I saw some interest in it, and I've played Black Ops 3, and I personally thought it was very fun. So with Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3, I feel like you guys
you have to note that.
nailed
You have to note that the 3D
factor.
maneuvering in Black Ops 3 is a lot different from the one in Advanced Warfare. That they made lots of tweaks. But anyways, back to the subject of Attack on Titan. Yeah, it's true, Bish, that it's not a multiplayer game, but at the same time, even though it's a single-player game, like you said, it has lots of influences from Dynasty Warriors, right? So, my perspective on the Dynasty Warriors series is that it's kind of a spammy game. There's a buttload of enemies and there's lots of frantic action, right? So I'm afraid that, will this degenerate into a giant button mashing
No,
fest,
I wouldn't say so. But it's more of a strategic game because there's less buttons to press. In that sense, you're going to have to precisely attack the Titan at the right time, because if you don't, you cock it up. Yeah, that's just how it is. And there's also kind of these quick time events. That's something I wanted to mention.
Oh,
Damn
my
it.
old enemy. Meet again.
But that's something that we've also seen in Dynasty Warriors. So.
Oh, well, you guys just lost 2 sales, Koei Tecmo.
quick time-
I hope you're happy. Kevin and
Guys, the
Tyson are
quick
not
time
buying the
events
game.
only
It's official.
happen when you cock up something. Really, when the Titans are, when you're on low health, the Titans are trying to eat you. That's when the quick time events happen. That's pretty much. And it's fair because, you can't be OP without. That's why you need the quick time events. You can't just be OP. Let's be honest. It's more balancing reasons that they've done that. Yeah, and this is anyone that's a fan of Dynasty Warriors. I say that this game is a spiritual successor to Dynasty Warriors Strike Force. I'm just saying that. Whether you agree with it or not, that's just my opinion. Yeah, let's go on to kind of our opinions and our questions about the game. Like, we've already mentioned whether or not we're going to see a dub, but the one thing I want to see is... This is something that we rarely see with Tecmo Koei games when they come overseas because of this delayed release. Are we going to be able to play with people in Japan? I don't think so. The reason that is because the games actually get released as different games over here, which is very odd. Like, they get different PlayStation Store listings, that kind of stuff. And there's also different servers and things like that for the multiplayer aspect of it. So it would be nice if we could play with people in Japan and stuff like that. And it might be the case that we do, because this is a very popular game, and I don't want to see Tecmo Koei kind of cocking it up in that sense. You know, I don't want them to be like, hey, let's not include a multiplayer that's universal. But I understand if they don't, because obviously the different kind of thing. The multiplayer, by the way, is more so of an online thing. It's up to 4 players, and you basically play through the game. No, it's not PvP. No, of course not. It's more co-op multiplayer, but with 4 players.
Yeah, Attack on Titan doesn't fit a PvP mode.
No.
So you're going through you're killing titans and stuff with like 3 other players.
Yeah, basically.
All right.
I wonder if there's a survival mode, like kill all the. That would have been awesome.
That would have been
awesome.
It would be, but the thing is, bear in mind, I'm probably guessing that there is going to be a second game. So that's something that they would include for a second game.
It really depends on the success of this.
But then
This
again,
is a very successful
there's
game
a
already, and it's been like 2 days in.
There's a
so.
huge hype train about it. Like, if you look at the comments on the gameplay videos on YouTube, you know, the bunch of people, just on YouTube commenting on how good it looks and how much they want to buy it, right? And it hasn't even come out for the West. There's not even a release date yet. So it's not guaranteed, but I mean, I have a feeling that just because it's Attack on Titan, it'll probably have some degree of success, you know.
Yeah, and I think also
especially
because...
overseas, like Attack on Titan has a huge exposure in the West.
And
yeah, of course.
It's not only the Attack on Titan fan base. You have to remember that this is marketed towards the Dynasty Warriors fan base as well. So they have a huge market to draw from.
Yeah, you can get Dynasty Warriors fans into the series.
Yeah, assuming that they're not already fans of the series.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I meant like this, like Attack on Titan, the Attack on Titan series.
Funimation is probably working on this as we speak.
Probably, I would say so. I think they're probably working on a dub. Another thing is that should we have the ability to play with Japanese players, like we might not get the ability, but I'm not sure whether or not we should, because bear in mind the way that it works, and I understand why they do this, is that we're going to get DLCs later than Japan because it's technically 2 different games. It's going to be treated as such. In the West, we're going to be able to play with different people around the world, like, you know, Australians, people in Europe, Americans, but obviously excluding the Japanese. That's just how it is.
Are you talking about like how like people will have DLC that Americans don't when they're playing together?
Yes. If that was the case, if we were able to play with people in Japan, they're going to have DLCs that aren't necessarily going to be in the game that we're going to play.
Well, it depends on the kind of DLC.
If that's the case,
if it's like weapon DLC, then that's a big problem. But
the thing is,
costume DLC,
costume DLCs, of course, and weapon DLCs. But the way weapon DLCs are going to work is going to be similar to Dynasty Warriors. You're not going to get new weapons because the game only has one type of weapon, the blades. They're just going to be reskinned blades, but with different attributes. That's it.
If that's the case, they're going to be on different servers. And I can pretty much say, from reading people who have played Splatoon, and Splatoon has global servers, they anyone who plays at the same hour that roughly the Japanese also play, they get wrecked.
Yeah, that
not only by the lag, but by the skill that they have.
That's a huge thing.
Not really, because I've played Splatoon and I've beaten a bunch of Japanese players.
Oh yeah, like I'm not saying that it's for everyone.
Joe, you are so good.
I'm not trying to be good. It's just the
Optic,
truth.
listen
They're
up. This is your next player here. MLG Splatoon. Yeah.
Optic Joe.
But like,
Yeah, fight. Yeah, you guys. Japanese. I'm challenging you. I have my squid grill up and I'm ready to splat.
1v1, guys.
Joe, you use a roller. That's what you use.
No, I don't use a roller. I use a splatter
No,
shot.
Whoa,
you use
dude,
the roller.
dude.
You're the kind of asshole who uses the roller.
No, I'm the kind of-
That's
I'm the
easy
asshole that
mode.
uses a splatter shot RG. That's like worse.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Tough Guy. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Now,
back.
have you seen the splatter shot RG? It fires at such a fast rate. It's insane.
Anyway, guys, another thing
It's like
that
half
I
my
want
friends
to.
hate me because I use it.
Okay. I don't know what to say to that. But back to the point. Back to the point of Attack on Titan. Do you want to see the game get an Xbox release? And I think this is something. There is exclusivity over there. And I'm probably guessing that we're just going to get a PS4 release. And probably a PS3 release. Because we don't generally see PS Vita releases.
I already have my answer for this right away. It's like, I would be for like a release outside of the PlayStation family, because like it's not. I don't really think of this as a game to try and sell units. I think of this like as a game to give like the series exposure, and it would be much better if the game was like spread across a larger audience. That means more people can get into the
I really
series,
want to get
more people can
into
play the
Tyson's
game.
opinion, because he is primarily an Xbox gamer. He has an Xbox One, 360, that kind of stuff. So, because I think a decision like this will influence whether or not you buy the game.
Oh, definitely.
I'm guessing. Because not everyone is going to buy a PlayStation 4 to kind of buy this game. Like, I know I prepared myself and I chose my way. I chose my path in terms of PS4 because I'm a big fan of Tecmo Koei games, and I know that they love doing this exclusivity with Sony. I know that. So that's kind of why I was kind of prepared in that sense. But in terms of you, Tyson, would you want to see an Xbox One release of this game? Or no?
Sure, why not? But going back to Joe's point, consider this: out of 50 million next-gen consoles that are out there, I think the last number that I saw was 17 million of those were Xbox Ones. So if they release on the PS4, they're gonna get their buck. So financially speaking, it doesn't make sense to release it on the Xbox One, given that there's a smaller base on there. However, the people who prefer this type of games have already PS4s.
That's true, but at the same time, this is something Tecmo Koei has been doing quite a lot recently, is that if the game has exclusivity in Japan or whatnot, they will try and bring it overseas and also release it on the Xbox One, depending on what type of game it is and depending on what sort of what kind of leeway they can get from Sony or whatever. And I think it would be it would be a bad choice if they were like, oh, let's not do the Xbox One port. I think that, potentially they can do an Xbox One port if all permitted and whatnot. Because a lot of people in the West are going to be playing on Xbox One, especially people who are fans of the game. Like, there's another market, like what I mentioned before. There are going to be people who've never played Dynasty Warriors before, but they're big fans of Attack on Titan. And like you, they might just be Xbox One or Xbox 360 players, mostly. We don't know that. And I think Tecmo Koei's done this in the past, so I think potentially.
I mean,
but I don't know.
The question here, I think we have to distinguish between: would you want an Xbox One release or an Xbox release, and do you expect one? Because do I want one? Yes, of course. What's wrong with more coverage and stuff? But do I expect one? No, because most of the time when there is exclusivity in Japan, most likely 9 out of 10 times it's gonna stay the same.
I wouldn't say that, but I think it's because, I don't know, like look at Arslan Muso. That was a recent anime game released by Tecmo Koei, and they released that on Xbox One and PS4, as well as a bunch of other titles, like as soon as I kind of thought about it, it just gone out of my mind. I think Samurai Warriors 4 as well, but I'm not quite sure on that actually. Dynasty Warriors 8 was also released on Xbox One. A game called what other game? The new Blade Storm game that was also ported on Xbox One, and in Japan they don't get an Xbox One release. That game was exclusive to PS4 in Japan. It got an Xbox One
Well, it's
release
because
here.
there are only like 1,000 people in Japan that have an Xbox.
There's
One.
actually only one guy. It's just this one guy that went over to Japan to teach English, and he's like,
Yeah,
shit.
it does not exist there.
Xbox One is just too big for Japanese houses. Am I right? But
Wow.
Well, that's
Kevin.
actually one of the
that's
reasons.
one of the comments I saw on Twitter when it first released, because
No.
it was a brick. People were making fun of that.
Oh,
I remember
okay.
that was one of the first comments
No,
I saw on Twitter. But
but yeah.
speaking of which, do you think KT would they port it over to Xbox if they had the chance? Because I mean, like Tyson said,
If they had the chance, yes.
'Cause most of
I
the
think
audience-
so. If
is on
Yeah,
PS4
like
already,
more.
right?
most of the audience is on PS4, but at the same time, bear in mind that Attack on Titan is very,
that's not
very
all of it.
popular in the
That's
West.
most of it, but it's not all of it.
That's exactly, yeah. They have a big audience in the West, and I don't think they're going to alienate that audience, kind of like what Namco Bandai did with Sword Art Online, Lost Song, and the other Sword Art Online games, is that you pretty much cock-block the Western audience that might be playing on Xbox One because of that kind of choice. It tends to happen, but I don't think Koei are going to do that. If they have the chance to bring it overseas on Xbox One, they would. But that's depending on the exclusivity deal.
I think they would, but I wouldn't put it like past Sony to say that, we want this exclusive on PS4 over on this side as well. And from what I'm seeing on Tecmo Koei's website for America, I mean the latest game was released on Xbox One as well, but a lot of the previous titles were only had releases for PlayStation for the PlayStation family only. So,
but that was in the past. Bear in mind that was before this new generation of games.
No, I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about years that. I'm sorry. I'm talking about games that released last year. No Banga's Ambitions Fear Influence. It had a release on PS4, PSC, Steam, and PS3. Both on 12. God damn it, I can't speak today. On 2015.
Nobunaga's Ambition, but that's more of a strategy game, I would say, and I think that's why they put it on PC.
Let me give you another example. Samurai Warriors 4 2, or however.
Yeah,
this is
Samurai Warriors 4 2. That was a PS4. I know. Tyson,
PS4,
stop ruining this for me, man. Come on.
PS4, PC, PS3, and Vita. No Xbox in there at all.
While we're talking about ports, I want to ask you guys a question. I know, to my knowledge, you guys don't own gaming PCs, right? But would you want it to be ported to PC? Because PC, it's a huge market, right?
Yes, of course,
Yes.
of course. The thing is,
if we want, as far as wanting it to be ported to something else, yes, because I want the
problem
game to
is
have more exposure and a bigger.
and also with the ports is that, especially with PC ports, nude mods, dude, nude mods. That's
But
the first
the thing
thing.
is-
As soon as the Dynasty Warriors game goes on PC, within the first couple of months, there is always a nude mod. And
I mean, they did that with Dead or Alive, so I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if they did for Attack on Titan.
but
that's
which
not
the
a
developers don't like, but
But that's not something we should be talking about, really.
But that's not a Tecmo Koei game. That's a Team Ninja game.
Well, technically,
Oh.
Team Ninja is part of Tecmo Koei now, so
Now they are. Okay.
yeah. Well, they were since 2012 or something since a long time. They merged together.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
I thought they were still owned by Namco, but never mind.
They were never owned by Namco. Tyson, what are you talking about? See, let me give you a lesson. Team Ninja was owned by Tecmo, and Koei bought out Tecmo, and it was kind of this deal. Square Enix wanted to buy out Tecmo, but then Koei were like, you know what? We're gonna cockblock you and buy out Tecmo. That's why there was this kind of thing. People wanted a Dead Fantasy game, like a crossover between Dead or Alive and Final Fantasy. You can search that up on YouTube, and people were really excited for it. And then Koei came in, and we were like, you know what? We want Ninja Gaiden, so they just bought out. That was going to be a thing.
Wait, that was actually going to be a thing? Dead Fantasy?
Dead Fantasy. Oh,
there
wow.
was something. There
actually
was
very
YouTube
clever.
videos about it, and it was actually a parody thing. But a lot of fans were expecting something like that because they wanted something like that when they heard that Square Enix might have bought out Tecmo. But in the end, it never happened. We didn't get to see it. it's kind of,
I mean, the reason I'm asking why, or whether or not you guys would want to see a PC port is because, yeah, like I said, for the Xbox, it's nice to have more coverage, right? You can draw in more people, promote your game. But at the same time, unfortunately, in the PC community, KT has a pretty shitty track record when it comes to PC ports for some reason. Like, that's what... It's just, if you search up Koei Tecmo PC ports, then you see a bunch of links of people just, complaining about
but
the
I
ports and
think
the
the reason that is
quality.
because
So I don't know whether...
the game itself, the game itself is kind of tends to get more not coverage, what is it, more attention on PS4, because the developers are still kind of producing patches for it and that kind of stuff, because the game is still being played in Japan on that console, and also because the PC port tends to be Western only. Do you see what I mean? For the Western markets and that kind of stuff. So I would say more kind of negligence on their part. Like, they don't necessarily pay as much attention to the PC port compared to the PS4 version of the game, because the PS4 version is making them money. That's just more so. The PC port is more like...
I mean, it's kind of a shame.
It's a shame, but
Because...
that's just
Bish,
how
I
it
don't
is,
wanna-
I would say.
So, yeah, it's true.
I don't want to get off topic, but I was looking up Dead Fantasy, and it's actually a series of fan-made CG action movies created by Monty starring a cast of characters from the Final Fantasy, Dead or Alive, Ninja Gaiden.
The thing
and
is with
Kingdom
Dead
Hearts game
Fantasy was that
franchises.
I think the reason behind Monty's making it was because around that time, that was when that deal was going to go down. The Square Enix the Square Enix Tecmo deal.
Wow.
But yeah. Anyway, another thing is, just to wrap up, are we going to buy the game? That's something. I know I'm probably going to buy the game when it comes out.
Yes.
Well,
You guys
I
are
think
like,
Tyson and I
no,
already
we
have an
can't buy
answer
the
for
game
that.
because, but the thing
And
is,
that'd be-
Tyson can...
Because
because they don't have
Because it has
something
quick
else.
time
No,
events.
no, not
Bi-
just quick time
bitch,
events.
you-
It's- yeah.
Bish, do you... Bish, you do...
You see, this is why we're the hosts of GALP, and you guys are just the guests, 'cause we have PS4s, and you guys are using your Xboxes.
I
and
can't hear
PCs.
you over
Exactly,
the sound
that's-
of
your-
my
your
glorious
PC
PC
is
rig.
running
Say
too
what,
hot,
Joe?
that's why.
What?
It has to work a
Have
lot
you
harder.
forgotten that I own a PS3? And I
That's true.
still have
Tyson
it.
can potentially buy the game because he has access to that. He can...
Oh, PSV. He has a
I
PSV.
do
Guess
not
what, Tyson?
care about
That
the
isn't a
PS4.
PS4.
But the thing is, Tyson will be able to play with people on the PS4 and the PlayStation Vita as well, because there is cross-play ability.
Well,
So-
yeah. If I buy it, I'll probably buy it for the Vita
Yeah.
TV.
Oh, Tyson, don't do that. Buy it for the PS4.
I wouldn't buy it
Buy
at-
for PlayStation
at
3,
release,
Tyson.
though,
Don't
to
do
be
it.
honest.
Don't do that to yourself. Don't buy it for the Vita TV. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have
Well,
a PS3,
Bish
you
says
might
that
as
they're
well get it
almost
for
equal,
PS3.
then might as well.
They're
probably
almost
go for
equal,
it,
but bear in mind, I'm talking about playing this on a PlayStation Vita screen. Not
no,
on
but
a television.
I've been playing it on my TV.
Yeah,
Not
if you
on
wanna
the,
play
on
a
the
game
console.
like
I don't
that-
own the. I don't own the.
Yeah,
the
I know,
Vita.
but what I'm saying is that, yeah, it's going to look pretty
Yeah,
shitty
but
on your
it'd be
TV.
more upscaled than
It looks
is,
great on a Vita, but that's just because it's on a Vita. But you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of
Mm-hmm.
upscaling that to your television.
When you blow it up to a full screen.
Yeah, dude, that's just like games 101. If you have
Exactly.
if you can get the better version of it, then get the better version.
except
PC
for
version
except for the
most of the time.
case of Koei Tecmo.
Kevin has to sneak in his
Well, guess
PC
what? Attack
Master
on Titan
Race
is on
dialect.
PC.
This is why Kevin is not a host on GALP.
I just...
Another thing that I want to talk about before we kind of end this is about the surge of anime games. Like, we tend to be like within 2015 and indeed 2016, we've seen a shit ton of anime games. The Sword Art games. We've seen obviously Attack on Titan. We've seen the One Piece games as well making an appearance. New Naruto game.
Yeah, like the Naruto game, the One Piece game, Solar Online Hollow Realization.
We've also seen
Danganronpa V3.
Well, I wouldn't consider that as an anime game, but
Wow.
there are a bunch more
that's not
anime
an
games as
anime
well.
game,
There's like
that-
a lot of anime fighters coming out. that already have been released. Marvelous AQL are releasing.
Bish,
Yeah.
you savage!
Naruto-
Do
sorry.
not sing Joe's dream like this. You know he loves Danganronpa. Do not
sorry.
say that.
Yeah, like I'm in tears. Ugh.
If there's one person here who's experienced with fighting games, well, at least a certain series, that'd be Tyson. Tyson's like the MLG like Naruto
he's
fighter
not.
Player.
He's
Oh,
not
no,
MLG.
he has like every game in the collection, I think, or nearly every game.
Of what? Of
I
what?
pay-
game?
He posts
I-
so many pictures on Twitter.
I play.
Collection of what game?
I play a majority of the Ninja Storm games. I don't own them, unfortunately, but I have played a majority of them. And Ninja Storm's pretty good. Ninja Storm's
Hashtag
pretty
broke college student problems.
good. But yeah, I think it's more a byproduct of. Oh my god, that chest.
Yeah, you know what? You guys won't even get contacts. The listeners don't get contacts on this. This is all they're getting. Right?
You're not gonna see those awesome man tits. But
Oh my
by
God.
the way, Bish, you're gonna cut this. I don't want to hear this on the podcast. Anyway, so I think it's more a byproduct of what the production committees for those specific shows and examples that you mentioned had their clause on the contract. So, so I wouldn't call it
Just for you, Tyson.
more of a.
Taking the piss. Why making fun of my man tits? I heard that. nothing wrong. If you have man tits, it's okay, man. It's okay. Everyone has. man tits.
That's your blooper reel moment right there.
That is gonna be a blooper reel. But
And
Go back to-
anyway,
I'm scarred.
and
oh yeah, because you saw me milking my own breast.
My eyes burn.
No, it's fine.
They burn.
It's pretty hairy though, so I won't expect that you've seen it.
Oh my
Or
god, wait,
anything.
wait. You guys
no,
know,
no.
It's like
Okay,
Chewbacca.
stop it.
Do you
Okay.
guys know the Mega Milk meme? Do you guys know that meme?
You mean the Faku logo?
That's what I think of when you do that.
Okay, I want to get back to the point. Bish, you're not putting any of this on the Rungo podcast. You can
Oh.
put that on a blooper reel, but
Oh, we're definitely not putting it on there. That's for the
Listeners,
bloopers reel.
I have a mission
Or the
for you.
blooper reel.
Somebody create a fanfic of this and send it to us. All right?
Send it to Tyson
Send it
because
to
he's
Tyson.
still director of fanfics, and technically that's part of his role. It's fine.
so I think it's more a decision of the production committees for those shows that you mentioned to have an anime game because mostly, and this is a reality in anime, the anime promotes the manga or the light novel or the game that is based off. And usually these production committees can include at times video game publishers. So they're going to want their slice of the pie. And the fact that most of them released on the last year, I do not think I rather think that it's more strategic planning rather than coincidence. But
Strategic planning for what? Because Sword Art Online has had like 2 seasons already, and it's quite old. And the fact that they've just released the games now doesn't really make quite a lot of sense. Like, to be honest, that's just my opinion.
No, that's the thing. It could have been arranged in a production committee meeting that say, "Hey, we're X company. We want the rights to produce a game out of this anime as well." And they know that they won't probably release it on time unless it's a visual novel, because that even takes time to develop.
And
But the
another
ones
thing
that
to mention is that you mentioned visual novels and obviously these anime games. They tend to be developed by the same people, so it's either Tecmo Koei or Namco Bandai, in most cases.
So that's why the example of the production committee being is even more relevant. So
Sometimes they work together as well. It's like Bandai Namco and Tecmo Koei tend to work together a lot on these projects, especially with anime games. It's that Bandai will get the license to make the game, and then they'll be like, "Hey, Tecmo Koei, yeah, you can do that." like that's normally how it works, especially with Gundam and with One Piece Pirate Warriors and things like that.
Anyway, so at least that's where I stand. I don't want to attribute it to chance, but rather something that has been planned a long time ago. Instead of attributing it to a bit of coincidence that, hey, there are a lot of anime games released on the last year. Why is that? Like, trying to rationalize this a little bit.
Another thing is, I really wanted to ask, what kind of games do you want to see? What type of animes do you want to see turn into games? Because this is something Tecmo Koei has asked recently, and they had a bunch. Like, there's a reason they're asking, and there's a reason that they put certain choices on that Twitter poll. Because it's probably choices that they were given, or some sort of things that were talked about in some sort of meeting that I don't know about. But the choices were very interesting, because they put down One Piece. They put down One Piece. They put down Naruto. They put down games like anime like Sword Art. I think Danmachi was one of them as well, and I think also One Punch Man. But
Well, I want a One Punch Man game.
But
that would
the
be
thing
amazing.
is, do you want a One Punch Man game developed by Tecmo Koei? Because I
Yes.
don't know how that's going to work. That's just going to be a very simple game.
Well,
Because, one punch kills. That's just it.
Come on, Joe. Put your developer hat on. How does a One Punch Man game gonna work?
Yeah, that's something.
Put your developer hat on.
Have multiple players. Don't just make a Saitama as the playable character.
I'd rather not have an adaptation of a game, of an anime, than have a shitty one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And I think something like One Punch Man would not work as a game.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because it's like one
lots
punch.
of reasons.
I think it's just because of
Did
that.
you hear what I said? I said we should have multiple characters other than Saitama.
I don't think it is. And bear in mind, you're going to have to stay true to the
Maybe
story.
if you guys watch the anime, you'd get
I
what
also,
I meant.
also I think that Free has
Bish
more
watched
chance
the anime,
of-
and Kevin did as well.
I think, bear in
They
mind,
better
I
have.
think that that Free has more chance of succeeding as a Tecmo Koei game compared to One Punch Man. And that's a game about swimming.
You know, I bet you get yourself
and
wet playing
shirtless
that,
guys.
won't you?
Wow, Joe, you're getting
No,
destroyed here. You're gonna walk out of here like in a casket because of the destruction that you're getting.
Yeah, like if Free were adapted into a visual novel, Tyson would buy the shit out of it. He would just buy
I
the
would.
shit out of it.
I
But we're not
definitely
talking about a
would.
visual novel. We're talking about a game where you basically swim. I think Tyson would buy that game just so he
I
can
would.
Swimming games,
customize
like,
characters.
I would. I
That was
would.
even a thing. Swimming
Yeah.
games.
I would.
Swimming games.
I would.
Kevin, you
no,
would
no,
know.
just picture that as a Wii game. You know, just using your nunchucky controller. You know, just swimming around.
I think
How? Okay, Bish. How about this? What if, like, a possible One Punch Man game had yourself make your own
Okay,
character?
okay.
potentially,
That's a
but not
possibility.
something
Joe?
that I would see Tecmo Koei producing. I think that's more of like an
Joe?
online MMO type thing, like a Dragon Ball Z Online or like games like that.
I mean,
Because games where you
Joe,
create your own character tend to be MMOs. That's just what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, Sword Art Online, Hall of Fragment did that. You made your own character and then you were.
But you made the thing is you made your own character, yet you were still referred to as Kirito. And in the cutscenes, you were still Kirito. So I wouldn't. It's not really create your own character in that sense. It's just customizing a character.
I wanna say, I wanted to add that I don't see Koei Tecmo doing a Naruto game. I mean,
Why not?
CyberConnect 2, CyberConnect.
Because Bandai Namco already has that in the bag.
They
No,
do,
it-
but
no,
at
it-
the same time, bear in mind they've worked together before, and I can see them working together again and making something similar to One Piece, like a One Piece.
No,
game.
but the thing is, at least from my perspective, having played a majority of the Ninja Storm games, CyberConnect 2 has done a very good job at those games. Why would I want to hand it over to Tecmo Koei?
Yeah, but I don't think of it as more so like them making Ninja Storm games. I think more so them making
No.
a spin-off game.
No, but what can possibly Koei Tecmo bring to the bag that
I think it makes
refreshes
some
the
sense.
experience?
To be honest, no, I'm not going to say it refreshes the experience. I think it's a new take on the game, more so because for me, Ninja Storm is a fighting game. That's how it's classified. It's not classified as it does have hack and slashy elements, but I consider it as a fighting game, and that's how it's treated, at least in the UK. You know, it's in that fighting
And
game
like,
scene.
And
So
like, at least from what I played, yes, there's an element that is fighting, but it's a hybrid actually. It has action adventure elements of it, and there's the fighting element of it. I don't know if you guys in the UK got it, but there was a duo of Naruto games that were produced by Ubisoft that also were action adventure and fighting style on it, and that pretty much set the ground for what would Naruto be. So I still don't get, or not get, but imagine what could Koei Tecmo do.
I think it would make a lot of sense because bear in mind Naruto is a bunch of ninjas fighting. That's actually the official synopsis of the show. If you look at Anime Planet, they've just quoted me on that. A bunch of ninjas fighting.
But by the way, you guys are not seeing it because this is an audio podcast, but I'm showing Bish the Ubisoft game that I have on the webcam. This too.
But more so, what I'm saying in regards to the games is that you have a bunch of characters, which Dynasty Warriors handles very well, and also you have a bunch of different weapon styles, different movesets, which also Dynasty Warriors kind of handles very well, and Tecmo Koei handles it very well in that sense. So I think it could work. Just based off that, it could work as a Dynasty Warriors clone. Whether or not it's successful, that's a different issue. But I just think it would work well as a game.
I mean,
the thing is that it would damage the brand, and that's something that
How so?
that
I don't think it would damage the brand. I think in Japan, even if it doesn't get a European release, I think in Japan, people are going to blow up for that game because, as we know, Muso games are pretty much the Call of Duty of Japan. They're that popular. People will buy it regardless.
Yeah,
Hence
but
why we've seen a Dragon. We've seen a Dragon Quest game. Is it called Dragon Quest? Or is it called Dragon Quest? No. You know the game that has the Square Enix game that was like illustrated by Akira Toriyama, which was originally an RPG. They've made that into a hack and slash game.
Was it Blue?
Talking about Dragon Quest Heroes?
Are you talking about Blue? Are you talking about Blue Dragon, the one that got a 360
I
release?
was talking about what Joe was saying, Dragon Quest Heroes.
Oh,
Dragon Quest
okay.
Heroes.
Yeah,
okay.
Dragon Quest is an RPG, but it was turned into a hack and slash, and it works.
Yeah, I heard it was successful.
I mean,
I have to see it actually.
Even Legend of Zelda, that game was Hyrule Warriors. That successfully.
I kind of wish I got a chance to play it at Comic-Con,
Mhm.
but like I've seen it and it looks like it works.
It
Like,
does
looks
work.
Very,
I would say so.
Well done.
yeah, but
I do
that's
have
not-
I do have a second point that I want to touch on, but Kevin has something to say that.
Which is, I'll start by responding to Bish. I mean, yeah, Zelda worked, but that's a totally different situation because this is a game being transferred into a different genre of game. It's not an anime being transferred into a game, right? And the thing is, the problem is I find that with a lot of anime games and a lot of film games for that matter, is that they tend to be either, just really generic or just straight up bad. The thing is, since these are two completely different mediums, films and TV shows being a passive medium, whereas games are very much an active medium where you're directly involved, just bad game design usually ruins a game, and the end result that you get is just a really generic anime game. Because, there are moments where you look at gameplay videos, and it's like, I think I've seen this game like at least 3 times before in 3 different series. It's not something that is original enough to make you want to go, like, even though I'm not a fan of this game, I want to go out of my way to buy it and see what it's about.
You know what I personally think that a Nisekoi game would be good for Koei Tecmo. Because I've seen enough fighting in Nisekoi.
Maybe. But
Wow.
The funny thing is, there's a game which has Nisekoi characters. I'm not sure if it's J-Star's Victory or something
It's
else.
J-Star's Victory Versus. It has like Chitoge.
It does.
You know
And
what?
she's
Super
a
Mario
support
Maker has
character,
Chitoge.
so-
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
Super Mario Maker
I
Maker
heard of,
also
Is
has
that real?
Chitoge
Maker
now.
has a.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
they
is that
they
a
recently
thing? Is that
announced
legit?
it. They
No.
recently announced
Seriously,
it.
I saw a
Yeah.
video of
Is
it. In the U.S. and in Japan, they released a costume for Chitoge.
What the
Yeah,
hell?
That's
Next thing you
legit.
know, we're
That's
gonna see her in
legit.
Super Smash Brothers. Like what? Wait.
No,
I'm searching
it's
this
like
now.
It's
No,
like one of
I'm not
the,
even shitting you. It
It's
was
one of like the
announced.
special costumes for the Super Mario Bros. Skin.
Wait, is there
Mario Maker.
a
It's
lot
like-
a lot of other characters as well? I thought
At
that
least
was
from
a
No,
joke.
this-
it's
I
not
saw-
like an actual. Like they don't have their
So-
own like mechanics. It's just a costume.
Yeah, I
It's a
know.
skin.
But what I'm
It's a
saying
skin.
is that I
Mario.
saw a bunch of other. I saw people doing this. Like I thought someone was doing this on like Twitter or something. Like, Wait. Why is she the only skin for Mario?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far,
yeah. So
Only
far.
skin.
Okay, because I saw like someone on Twitter doing some sort of thing where they had like Chitoge and then they had Tiger from Toradora and then like characters from like
I
One
just
Piece
picture
and
like
stuff.
Tyson internally scoffing at the fact that they didn't include
Chitoge.
Tsugumi. He was like, "Oh my god, why they include Shitoge in there?"
No,
I was actually-
Tsugumi is
I was
actually in the
actually-
game, but she's a skin for Bowser.
Wow. Fuck you, bitch.
And
Fuck
Onodera is the
you.
princess in the game. That's just how it works. Come on. No,
But
imagine if
anyway,
Raku
but-
was a skin for.
No, that'd be
for,
worse. That means we
Guys,
Princess
guys, let's
That
get
would
to
be
the
amazing.
point. We're running short on time, please.
No, Raku would be Princess Peach because he's useless. Yes, sir.
But anyway, going slightly off topic and then off topic, but on topic back again. There's actually a Nisekoi game, but I think Konami has the rights to that.
Konami? They still
Konami-
exist.
Konami.
Did it also get canceled?
No, well, it's on big.
I think that was Konami.
It's on beta. It's called Nisekoi Yomeiri. It didn't got a release outside of Japan. It's a bitch.
Oh, another thing
Anyway.
is when Tecmo were suggesting, because they had another section for this kind of survey that they did, and I don't want to be a dick, but I replied to it and I was like, Love Live, Muso.
Wow.
I wanna see like a Love Live fighting game. That'd be hilarious. Just as
No,
a joke.
but-
I don't think
No,
anyone would buy it. But
There,
just as
there
a
should
joke.
be like this ultimate fighting game a la Tekken where you just have everyone's favorite waifus just fighting it
Wow.
out.
Oh, you can
That
put
would sell
Waifu
like
Wars
hotcakes.
as well. Oh my god, we have
Yeah,
to make
exactly.
this.
Wow.
Let's talk
guys,
to Capcom.
I can confirm. Guys, I can confirm. Nisekoi game is from Konami.
Okay, but the thing is, we need to make a game now where it's just everyone's best girls just fight against each other. You know, you can have Onodera, and then you can have Chitoge. You can have
Yeah, so
Tsugumi.
like
you can have
the
all
guys-
these different. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that would
I
be
mean,
fucking
that'd be
amazing.
a really good
So-
adaptation of the anime.
you could have Muki-chan beating the
Oh,
shit out
yeah.
of Tsugumi.
Shit, yes.
Guys,
Oh,
wait,
Mugi-chan would be
guys,
so OP. I can imagine this now.
guys,
She can use her
when
eyebrows in attacks and shit.
guys, when Bish pitched the idea of a kunai crossover to Get a Life podcast, at least myself, I did not expect this at all.
What, just trashing of your waifu?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're in my domain now, Tyson.
yeah, this is our domain. These are our rules.
No, I gave
Came the wrong neighborhood, motherfucker.
Anyway, I wanted to address the second point and just move on. I really like to see a Danmachi game from Tecmo Koei. Seems as a
Danmachi,
clone of Dynasty Warriors, I think it could work.
I
As a
think
clone
so,
of
but
that-
I think that game would make more sense as an RPG. Only
Which Tecmo
because-
Koei can do as well. They can. Or
That's
is that
not
not their
That's not
specialty?
That's not their
That's
specialty.
not really their
I
specialty.
think Namco Bandai can handle that a lot more because they've done it
Yeah,
with Sword
they're
Art
really good at,
Online and things like that. But if it was me, I would say Square Enix. If you give Danmachi to Square Enix, they can pull that off really well. Because they know how to make RPGs. Tecmo Koei, I'll be honest,
That
they
is
don't know
true,
how to
that
make
is true.
RPGs.
That's true. Square Enix makes some pretty solid
Yeah.
RPGs.
So I would say Square Enix would be a better choice for that. And whether or not they would decide to pick up something
hang on.
like Danmachi.
I just noticed Squeenix is the first company that I think we've mentioned in this episode that we have not shat on yet.
No, because they're cool. Like,
Well, because.
oh,
I love
except
Square
for
Enix.
one
They're-
thing that I don't like about Square Enix, Final Fantasy 13, that was a bullshit game.
No,
Oh, Sam,
No,
I'm so sorry. Censor that for Sam. Sam's gonna be pissed now.
Sam's gonna be crying at the end of it.
I'm gonna shit on Square Enix because they're making the Dream Drop Distance remaster exclusive to PS4. Square Enix,
Tyson-
fuck you.
Tyson, why do you have to crush Bish's dreams? I mean, you've done it in Haganai. Are you not satisfied already?
Okay.
I am not
Okay,
content.
wait, guys, wait a second. Tyson, I need to say this. When has Kingdom Hearts ever been Xbox One besides Kingdom Hearts 3?
No,
Oh, what if?
what I big
what
no
if-
no what I
Guys.
wanted was the remaster of Dream Drop Distance available on PS3. Why the fuck are you making it PS4 exclusive?
It's because of because of the not Dream Distance, the Birth by Sleep segment. Because look at that, it looks so next gen, it's insane.
I don't
So
care.
much, yeah.
I do not care.
One
You
thing
don't
I have
care.
to
You want a
mention-
laggy as hell game?
Guys,
you
guys.
want it to run at 20 frames?
Guys,
Yes.
guys,
Yes.
guys. Let me just. bring the peace here. There's something that I did want to mention in regards to the whole Kingdom Hearts 3. What if Square Enix listened to this and Disney listened to this and they're like, you know what, Tyson? Because of what you said about Square Enix, we're not going to bring Kingdom Hearts over to the Xbox One. What if they did that just to spite you?
I was pretty upset when the marketing materials were about having Kingdom Hearts 3 exclusive for PS4. I was pissed off.
But what if they change
Really?
their mind and like, hey, you know what? Because Tyson talk shit about us on the internet, we're gonna make this a PS4 exclusive, and everyone's just gonna hate on you. All the Xbox One Kingdom Heart fans are gonna be like, you know what, Tyson? You know what, Tyson? You better hide, because we're gonna find you.
Yep.
I don't think you realize how strongly I feel
I'm just saying,
against the
Tyson,
PS4.
What if they do that? What if you've just alienated yourself from all of the Xbox One Kingdom Hearts fans because of what you said now?
No, it's Square.
Smile and optimism gone.
If Square Enix does that move, I would probably quit gaming.
Wow.
Because I am not going to buy a PS4 just to play Kingdom Hearts 3.
Whoa. Okay. Wow.
Whoa,
You must have
whoa.
some
That's
sort
a
of,
bold
like-
statement. And Square Enix, if you're listening, I'm willing to give you like £500. I know it's not a lot, but I'm willing to give you like £500 for you to just stop this game. That £500 can go to Tyson, and he can actually buy a PS4 with that, and actually buy the game if it wasn't exclusive. But
Wow.
I'm
Tyson
willing.
probably burn it
Oh,
That-
rather than buy a
he would,
PS4.
he would
If-
burn the money.
if-
I'm like, what? No.
Is
Yeah.
that the charity the savings that you've been saving up?
Yes. All the money that was
Wow.
supposed to go to charity is actually going to
Square Enix.
Square Enix. Like, what? Square Enix, if you're listening, you're not getting any money from me. Because I don't always buy your game. That's just very, very interesting. Anyway, let's just wrap this up now, because there's nothing else for us to talk about, unless you guys want to talk about
Yeah.
anything else.
Not really.
No? Okay.
Not really. We kind of like let out the anger already.
We let out the anger. There's peace now. And we spoke about all this kind of stuff. If you guys want us to talk about any sort of stuff on the podcast, like if there's something that you want us to debate about, like, we had our Vita versus 3DS debate. If you guys want us to do something similar, like a PS4 versus Xbox One debate or something like that, and, you want Tyson to kind of thrash me probably, because, he's like his Xbox One guy, yay, or anything
And
like
if
that.
you want donate to Tyson to help him get a PS4, we'll put his PayPal in.
No,
the
we're not going to put his
description.
PayPal
Fuck
in here. No.
you!
We can't do that. That doesn't work like
I'm just
that.
kidding. I'm
No,
just
because
kidding.
you do know people. He's a director of fanfics, and he has like the budget
The
for
secret
budget.
kunai.
a cult following.
Yes,
secret
no, he has
budget.
the secret budget for kunai. So, if he wanted to get a PS4, he could.
But he doesn't. I don't know why.
But he
just
doesn't.
hate PS4. It's like PS4 murdered his family or something. I don't know.
And Kevin, why is it dark in your room? What are you doing?
Because I turned off the lights.
That's what,
Because I turned off the lights.
dude. It's kind of creepy. It's like, hey guys. It's like Mitsuo Kubo from Persona 4. That you're that creepy right now.
Wow. So Kevin is Nagisa. He's another guy that I don't remember, and now he's Mitsuo Kubo.
Now he's Mitsuo Kubo.
I should just drop out of high school and become like a cosplayer, because
Well-
I'm being called all
No,
these
I'm not
things.
saying you look like Mitsuo. I'm just saying you're acting like Mitsuo right now. You're probably gonna go after this and find a girl on the street and sniff her hair. You smell nice today. That's what it's gonna be like. This is stuff for the blooper.
On,
reel, I would say.
on that note, this has been another episode of the Get a Life
No,
podcast.
Tyson, no.
You don't
Tyson,
get to
can't
do
the
that.
outro.
You don't
Wait a
get
second,
to
no
do
right
that.
to do
Tyson and I are the hosts here.
Ah,
You're
Tyson
just,
just
a guest.
hijacking my own podcast here.
You can't just jack our host.
Yeah.
You can't just jack the role
You know
of
this is
host.
great because we have more kind of content for the blooper reel. Anyway, if you guys kind of like the stuff that we do, go follow us on Twitter. My Twitter page is at Get Life Podcast. Tyson's is at the Tempest Phoenix. All caps. Joe's is what
Kevin
is
is
your
looking at Bish in
I'll say that
contempt.
right now. My Twitter handle is Kibo Gamer,
Yeah.
spelled as KIBOUGAMER.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Kevin, what's your Twitter page?
So my Twitter page is
At Kane
At-
_.
no. It's at KANYE _. Right, Kanye _.
Kanye.
So yeah, Yeah. So just
Kevin's Twitter handle is at Faku.
Yep. I'm actually the guy who manages that website. So like
Yeah, see, like this is.
if you
like,
want free
this is
subs,
why
if you want free subs for Falku, just hit me up.
Yeah, just hit him up. We'll give you a nice little discount.
Wow.
P.S. Faku, if you are listening to this, we wouldn't mind if you gave us free discounts.
What?
No. We're not putting me in that group, Kevin. This is all you.
Yeah, Kevin.
Like, I don't know what you're into, but we don't want to be a part of it.
Bullshit. Am I supposed to believe that you, Joe, the self-proclaimed like perv of the group, doesn't do some suspicious shit? Like,
I would never.
No, but Kevin,
Joe,
this
you
is
are-
why.
you are
No, wait, Kevin. This is why you're dark at the moment. Like your screen is dark and it's only showing you because you're doing some shady shit
what-
right now, and I know that. I know
Yeah,
you're.
why is
secretly
one of your,
fapping, dude.
why is one hand hidden while your other hand is just on
Exactly.
your mouth?
Oh my God, Joe, this makes so much sense. Kevin, why are you fapping during recording, man? You shouldn't be doing that.
What?
Kind of stuff.
Oh my God! You have ruined this forever.
You pulled out your man tits, man. I couldn't help myself. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. You want to see it again?
What? No!
No, bish.
No,
Oh.
I'm only joking. I'm
No.
not joking. I'm not going to show you my tits. You guys don't. You know, you gotta
Let's cut that
pay
out,
to
though.
see that.
That was.
Wow. So Bish is now a prostitute. Wow.
No, I'm not. I'm not a prostitute.
Wow.
I'm a cam girl, man. Come on.
Shameful.
As always,
There's a paywall to see me.
hashtag get bish laid is always up. So if there are any people looking for a senpai out there, any Brits, like
Yeah,
he's still available.
but
So,
seriously,
Kevin-
guys, this is all going to be bloopers, by the way. Yeah. So, by the way, my Twitter page is at Get a Life Podcast. Tyson, what's your Twitter page?
My Twitter page is at Kanay _ spelled like KANAYE _.
And Kevin?
My Twitter handle is the Tempest Phoenix. So the Tempest and then Phoenix spelled with FENIX. Capital in front of each word, as always.
That's irrelevant.
No,
but Joe.
capital everything.
I'll just straight up ignore you if you don't do it correctly. No, just kidding.
Yeah, and my Twitter handle, I was actually telling the truth before. My Twitter handle is KiboGamer, spelled as KIBOUGAMER.
Mm-hmm. And we normally, if this was Kunai, we would say what the next episode is, but we don't quite know at the moment. So if you have any suggestions,
Yeah, we can't.
hook me up
Like,
on Twitter, dude.
OG GALP kind of just goes with the flow.
It goes with the flow, exactly. You could say that we are free flow. Wink, wink.
Wow.
Wink,
Sorry,
wink.
Tyson,
Wow.
I had to crush on your drink.
And is there another means to contact the podcast for those people who don't have Twitter?
Oh yeah, shit, yeah. You can contact us on our email address. We've got an email address. It's at. Oh shit, there's no at. Sorry, it's glap.pea@gmail.com.
I think
And
you
you-
just
Yeah, if
spelled
you want to
GLAP,
if
bish.
you want to give us feedback, or if you want to like make some suggestions or recommendations, then just hit up that email, and then we'll like take all those recommendations and advice into consideration.
Oh yeah, shit. No, I spelled it wrong. It's GLAP. That. Oh
No,
yeah,
it's
that's
GALP, bish.
yeah,
It's
I
your
know,
own
right?
podcast.
No, but that's a secret email. If you send an email to that at GLAP, if you send an email to that, you'll get something special. So
A picture of bitch man tits.
no, you're not gonna see that. Like I said, there's a paywall behind that.
Wow.
Paywall. You gotta pay microtransactions to see this
Wow.
one part of the content.
Yeah, there is.
Microtransactions to see that. Wow.
No, but seriously, you can send an email to us at GALP. Is that right? .PEA@gmail.com. You can send us an email there, and my assistant will send it to me. You know, pretty fancy. Anyway, yay! Yeah, I think that's the end of the Get Live podcast. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that you guys can check us out. These guys, you can check out these guys on Kunai. This is our monthly we had like a monthly anime podcast that we do, and we talk about anime, just like Attack on Titan and a bunch of other stuff. Danmachi. We have a like Waifu War series going on where we're talking about Nisei Koei and Haganai. And if you kind of want to give us suggestions for that, you can just tweet us at GALP Kunai, and yeah, because we need your suggestions. You know,
Yeah.
it would be really good to kind of get you guys' opinion on that. Yeah, that's also.
And also, like, since like as a co-host of the original Get a Life podcast, it'd also be really nice if we got recommendations for like our game-related podcasts, like our game-related episodes. So because I know we said we kind of go with the flow, but it'd be really nice to see what you guys want too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you want to give suggestions, feel free. Like I mentioned before, if you want us to talk about a specific topic, or if you want to give us like quick fire questions, like tits in games, yes or no, or dumb stuff like that. Actually, if you want us to suggest,
Yeah, it could be completely out there.
Yeah.
Don't be shy with whatever.
If you want
wanna
us to
say.
talk
like,
about,
I'm
like-
usually like.
yeah.
Well, we're
sorry.
usually pretty open about video games.
We
and
are,
stuff,
yeah.
like, about,
If you want
different
us to
consoles.
talk about
Okay, now we're-
games like
yeah.
Criminal Gals or games like Sanran Kagura, which is just tits the game. If you guys want us to talk about that kind
Yeah,
of
I
stuff,
can
we'll do
attest
it.
to that.
Wow.
We have no shame.
Wow.
Yeah, we have no shame.
The
We're
moment
out
you
there.
join GALP, any branch of GALP, you surrender your dignity because
Yeah, that's true.
That's what
And
I think we
Joe-
have here.
The thing is with Joe must have no dignity at all. Even the shred of dignity now, because he's joined GALP, he has like no dignity at all. Neither do I.
Yeah, I've gone too far.
Yeah,
Gone too deep.
don't say
Gone
that.
too deep, huh?
I've gone too deep.
That's what she said.
Senpai, no. Anyway,
You know, maybe
Dank
I wasn't
memes.
being literal, Tyson.
guys,
or was
let's
I?
end this now.
Oh, that's the question. Yeah, let's end this now.
So, yeah,
Okay, bye everyone.
Hope you guys have
Bye.
enjoyed this episode of the
See
Get Life
everyone.
podcast. Shut up, Kevin.
That's definitely the finisher. Shut up, Kevin. No, no. That's our meme. Instead of shut up, Adachi, it's shut up, Kevin.